a new popular app that's garnering attention on social media is under fire for privacy concerns. FaceApp uses artificial intelligence to transform your current face into your younger and older selves. Security researchers say the app is made by a small company in Russia, and according to its terms and conditions, each photo is uploaded to internet servers to be processed, which FaceApp does not explicitly tell users. The creators say they are deleting most of the photos quickly, but it is still very unclear how many it's keeping and what they are being used for. Joining us now is the Senior Vice President for Public Knowledge, Harold Feld. So, Harold, this app has created quite a stir, even on a political level. Is there any reason to be concerned?
Well, there is a lot of reason to be concerned. All of these things are essentially a black box. You have no idea what the application is actually doing. The disclosure statements that FaceApp makes, as a number of privacy advocates have pointed out, are extremely vague and give them, you agree to give them access to your camera, to your photo album, to your contacts and information. You agree that they can keep the picture and do whatever they want with it, and store it indefinitely. So there's really just no way to know. At best, it's another one of these things where you're giving away your a great deal of data free to Google and Facebook and AdMob and all of these others. And at worst, we can just imagine.
What do we know about the Russian company who created the app? Do you think this is a targeted data breach from Russia?
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, on the face of it, what we know is that this is a small company. They say they are completely independent of the Russian government. They're just internet entrepreneurs like anyone else. But the problem here is that Russia has an established history of working through precisely these kinds of businesses and organizations. This is a country that does not hesitate to use these kinds of businesses as fronts for intelligence gathering. And, if you say to yourself, well, what's the harm? It's just me. I'm not, a politician or anything. First of all, you never know who's going to try these things, but also you're feeding their facial recognition software. You're feeding their artificial intelligence research by fattening up their database and giving them information that they wouldn't otherwise have. And, when we talk about 150 million people who've downloaded this application, that's a lot of stuff.
It sure is. That's a lot of people. How can users, Harold, protect themselves from privacy breaches like this one?
Well, it is difficult because, you go to the App Store, either Google or Apple, and you think, well, they must have, they've got terms of service with third parties. They must have checked this over. But really, there isn't a lot that they do to make sure these things are okay. I mean, again, it's not like FaceApp is violating any law. It's not like malware. So, the things you have to ask yourself are, first of all, what kind of permissions is this thing asking for? Is it only, if you download an application, is it only asking to access things in your phone that it needs to do its job, or is it asking to access everything you've got? If it's a map program, then sure, it's going to need to access your GPS. But, if it's a FaceApp like this, it shouldn't need to access things like your contents in order to show you what you look like when you're older. So nobody can read through all of these things. They're huge and they're very confusing. But there are, as I say, certain red flags. If it seems to be asking for a lot of permissions, if you notice that it's running in the background when it shouldn't be running, these are signs that you've got something in your system that's taking a lot more information than you expected to.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that 150 million people around the world downloaded this really is staggering, and so pretty wild. Okay, Harold, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
You're most welcome.